What would Jesus want you to do? How do you call yourself a Christian when you literally support a Nazi regime? Oh, you don't want to be political? Yeah, real Christian of you. Is that what Jesus would want you to do? It's so funny to me. It's so funny to me how your biggest idiots, the peanut gallery is showing up as they usually do on social media. And they love using Christianity against Christians, having understood nothing about Christianity. They want everybody to get political. But really what that means is they just want you to support leftist cringe. That's all they want you to do. But let's take this argument seriously. Okay, I'm gonna tackle this argument seriously. Does Jesus want you to get political? And if so, how does that look like? The answer is yes. From a theological perspective, Jesus Christ, well, let's back it up a little bit. Religion and politics are actually not separate. Religion and politics are one and the same. There is a union between God, metaphysics, theology, and worldly affairs. Because when we talk about religion, when we talk about ethics, morality, heaven, hell, we're talking about what humanity ought to do, how we ought to organize our behaviors and express them, right? And then if you scale that out to a government, to a society, that's all government, that's all policy. Politics is all about what we ought to do as a collectivized unit. So keeping this in mind, now when we have someone like Jesus Christ, God incarnate, okay, the Word becoming flesh, basically the synchronization of heaven and earth, okay, of flesh and spirit, okay. It's the ultimate embodiment, okay? Jesus Christ is the ultimate embodiment, God in the flesh, okay? Meaning that religion and politics are not separate matters. They're one and the same, okay? That's what Jesus Christ represents, okay? So, to start things off, that's the whole preface, okay? Yes, Christianity is political. We are political. We demand submission to our way, which is the way of Christ. Okay. Jesus Christ demands it. So Christianity is political. This notion that Christianity is separate from politics, that the church is separate from the state, is a purely modern conception, is a completely new idea that does not mix with traditional Christianity. Traditional Christianity has always been the state. Okay. Now, what kind of government is Christianity? Okay. Who is Jesus Christ? Okay. Is he your representative in parliament or in the Senate or in Congress? Is he a senator? Who is Jesus Christ? What is he? Okay. What form of government is he all about? Is he a Democrat? Is he a Republican? What is he? No, no, no. Jesus Christ is a monarchist. Jesus Christ is the King of Kings. He is the monarch of monarchs. Okay? He does not reside in a democracy. He does not reside in a republic. He does not reside in a commune or in a longhouse, in a primitive longhouse. He doesn't reside in any of that. All of that is beneath him. All of that is hell. Okay? Where does he reside? He resides in the kingdom of heaven. So, when we talk about politics, when these women are shrieking about ICE and fascism and abuse and tyranny, what would the Christians do? Oh, that's really Christian of you for you to be taking a back seat from politics or to advocate for right-wing politics. That's really fascist of you. That's not Christian. Guys, Jesus Christ was not a hippie smoking pot in a fucking longhouse, in a teepee. Jesus Christ is sitting at the right hand of God the Father. Jesus Christ is the King of Kings. The heaven is a kingdom. When you go to heaven, let's say you die and you go to heaven. You die and you go to heaven, okay? Congratulations, you made it. You don't deserve it, but you made it. Guess what? Jesus Christ tells you to chop down a tree, you chop down a tree. If Jesus Christ tells you to sit, you sit. If he tells you to jump, you ask how high. Okay? You do not say, well, you know what? I don't feel like doing that. You don't pull a SpongeBob bot. You don't pull a sponge bot and say, I don't feel like it. You know what? I don't feel like it. You know, why don't we put it to a vote? You know, why don't we see what we all think? You know, we should all come to a consensus, you know, because that's a democracy. And a democracy is when the people think that they're in charge. When everyone thinks that everyone has an equal say, an equal vote, and everyone's voice matters. Okay? But that's not the government that Jesus is in charge of. He's in charge of the kingdom of heaven because he's the king. What he says goes. And there's no debate about it. And you know why? Because you're too stupid to be making decisions. You are a prideful, arrogant little rat who ate from the tree of knowledge. And you only incur destruction and pain because you think you know a little bit of something. You think you know a thing or two. And so you think you're qualified enough to do things when you're not. That's the problem with democracy. It makes everyone think that they're a king who's qualified to do things that they're not. So, to recap, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? Well, he'd tell you to do something for starters, and you would have to do it because he's the king. He's the King of Kings. And heaven is a kingdom. This is not a democracy. Democracy is hell. Heaven is a kingdom. Get that in your head. This is not a democracy. Our faith is not democracy based. It's a monarchy. And it was reflected as such in our earthly world for a very long time until very recently. And now we live in a democratic dystopia where the women run wild and say outlandish, hysterical things and twist your arm into going along with it. This is our condition right now. This is where we live.